Good morning, everyone. Pastor Chris here. Welcome to the Poolside Chat. I am going to answer a question today that I have really was going to avoid, to be perfectly honest. But I always say, you ask and I'll explain, so here goes. I think the basis of this question is, with the protests going on against ICE, who's right? Is it the government who wants to get rid of immigrants? Or is it ICE? Or excuse me, yeah, who's right? Lost is it ICE or is it immigrants? Is it the government who wants people to come in legally, or is it the protesters who want undocumented immigrants to be left alone? And I'm going to answer this the way that a friend of mine, a pastor friend of mine, said he'll answer any question. He goes to Scripture. ICE or protesters? Government or immigrants? Romans 13 addresses this, believe it or not. And it says, starting in verse 1, let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authorities is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror to those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and you'll be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. If you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath, to bring punishment on the wrongdoers. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible judgment, but also as a matter of conscience. This is also why you pay taxes, for the authorities are God's servants, who give their full time to governing. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. And if honor, then honor. Sounds kind of harsh, doesn't it? And I've always wondered, what about women's right to vote, women's suffrage? What about civil rights? To bring black people to an equal plane with white people. It seems like that contradicts what this says. What I would like to remind everyone is, in the women's suffrage movement, women's right to vote, and the civil rights movement, think Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The last two phrases of that passage: give everyone's due, if respect, then respect, and if honor, then honor. See, they fought against unjust laws, but they did it with respect and honor. In our society, Republican representative democracy, a republic, the government governs by the voice of the people. We elect leaders to do what we vote and ask them to do. And this is how the law works. This is how a capitalistic Republican democracy works. We express our voices through elected representatives. And what the women's suffragettes, Susan B. Anthony, Martin Luther King Jr., what they did is they protested by making their voices heard with honor and respect. They protested the political leaders to change the policies, change the law. They did not fight. They did not resist. They expressed and they made their voices heard. So, if you think the government has gone too far, or if you think the government should not be involved and, let everyone come into this country, or, as it was a few years ago, the government did let everyone come into this country. Express your views to the political leaders. That's what a Republican democracy does, a democratic republic. Show honor and respect to the elected officials, and change it if you don't like it, through protest, through making your voice heard. And what I will say is do not break the law, hurt other people, interfere with police operations, and think that this is, protest and making your voice heard. All that is crime. It gets people who engage in these practices hurt, and it puts officers in danger. You're fighting the wrong people. Protest and make your voice heard to elected leaders? Absolutely. Absolutely. Fight and interfere with police operations? Absolutely not. And there is one thing that I want to say finally in this. I didn't know where to put it. Whistles. You didn't ask me about this, but it goes in part of this whole question you had. I absolutely hate these whistles, but not for the reason you think. There were women who were being assaulted and sexually assaulted. And women were given these whistles, rape whistles is what they're called. And you would blow them to draw attention and hopefully interrupt that attack. And I really, really fear that this universal whistleblowing at law operations and mobs has made these rape whistles ineffective. That if someone, heaven forbid, becomes assaulted or a victim of sexual assault, and they blow a whistle, no one will pay attention, because everyone now is blowing whistles. And I really, really fear for that. I think it was effective, but I think this, I don't know what you call it, resistance has made this safety measure ineffective. I pray I'm wrong, but stop with the whistles. It's called a law of unintended consequences, and I think this may be one of the unintended consequences of this current trajectory that we're on. So anyway, that's what I have to say. I closed up my Bible, but just listen to that last verse, and I want to tell it to you again. Not Acts, Romans. Romans 13. 1 through 7, and that last part of verse 7. That's this whole thing. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. Do it with respect and with honor. Use that as the standard on how you express yourself, make And that's my thought. Go out and make yourself heard. Make your views known. I'm Pastor Chris. Keep sending the questions. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble at FL Compass Church. And now on Instagram at FL Compass Church. Have a great weekend. Remember, tomorrow's Sunday. Go to church. See you Wednesday.